Hey everyone, it's Dr. Mike here. And if you hear that sound in the background, don't worry, it's not a medical emergency. It's just my newest little patient. Today we're tackling a topic every parent knows and, let's be honest, sometimes dreads baby crying. It's like the universal language of newborns, but deciphering it can feel like you're back in med school. Don't worry, I'm here to break it down for you. We're gonna walk through the most common reasons babies cry, and I'll give you some practical tips on how to soothe those little ones. Before we jump in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on any future videos. And don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up if you find it helpful. Let's get started. Alright, let's start with the most obvious reason babies cry: hunger. Those tiny tummies empty out fast, and when they do, you'll know it. A hungry cry often starts gradually, building in intensity. It's usually a rhythmic, repetitive sound, kind of like a na or na sound. Think of it like this. Your baby is basically saying, "Hey, remember me? The one who relies on you for literally everything? Yeah, I'm running low on fuel over here." Now, newborns have different feeding schedules than older babies. You might find yourself feeding every 2 to 3 hours, sometimes even more frequently. And that's totally normal. So how do you know for sure if hunger is the culprit? Well, there are a few telltale signs. You might notice your baby rooting around, bringing their hands to their mouth, or even sucking on their fingers. Okay, let's move on to another common reason for those baby tears: a dirty diaper. I mean, let's be real, nobody likes sitting in a soggy or, situation. Now, a diaper-related cry might sound a bit different from a hunger cry. It could be a sudden, sharp cry, almost like a yelp. And trust me, you'll probably be able to smell the problem before you even see it. But don't worry, diaper changes are just a part of the parenting gig. The good news is, they're usually a quick fix for a crying baby. Pro tip: keep a well-stocked diaper changing station within arm's reach at all times. Trust me, you'll thank me later. Alright, new parents, let's talk about sleep, or rather the lack of it. We all know that becoming a parent is one of the most rewarding experiences, but it also comes with its fair share of challenges. One of the biggest hurdles? Sleep deprivation. It's no secret that new parents often find themselves running on fumes, trying to balance the demands of a newborn with their own need for rest. We all know babies need their sleep, right? In fact, newborns can sleep up to 17 hours a day, but it's often in short bursts, which can be exhausting for parents. Understanding your baby's sleep patterns and needs is crucial for both their well-being and yours. But sometimes it's hard to tell when they're actually tired versus just being, well, a baby. Babies have their own unique ways of communicating, and it can be a bit of a puzzle to figure out what they need at any given moment. Are they hungry? Do they need a diaper change? Or are they just tired and in need of some shut-eye? That's where those subtle sleep cues come in. Recognizing these cues can make a world of difference in helping your baby get the rest they need. It's all about tuning into their signals and understanding what they're trying to tell you. You gotta become a pro at reading your little one's signals. This means paying close attention to their behavior and learning to distinguish between different types of cries and movements. It might take some time, but with practice, you'll become more attuned to your baby's needs. First things first, watch for the eye rubs. This is one of the most common signs that your baby is getting sleepy. When they start rubbing their eyes, it's a clear indication that they're ready for a nap. Just like us adults, when babies are tired, their eyes get heavy and might even look a little watery. You might notice their eyelids drooping or them blinking more slowly. These are all signs that it's time to wind down and prepare for sleep. They might rub their eyes with their tiny fists or even try to bury their face in your shoulder. This is their way of seeking comfort and signaling that they're ready to rest. It's a natural instinct for them to seek out a cozy, safe place to sleep. It's their way of saying, "Hey mom, dad, these peepers are getting heavy." It's important to respond to these cues promptly to help your baby settle down before they become overtired. Another telltale sign is fussiness. When babies are tired, they can become more irritable and harder to soothe. This is because their little bodies are craving rest, but they might not know how to calm themselves down. Babies who are overtired can get cranky and irritable. They might cry more easily and have a harder time settling down. It's a vicious cycle because the more tired they get, the harder it can be for them to fall asleep. They might whine, squirm, or even start that adorable yawn cry combo. This is a clear sign that they're struggling to stay awake and need some help winding down. It's like they're fighting sleep, but their little bodies are just giving in. You might see them trying to keep their eyes open, only to have them slowly close again. It's a battle between their desire to stay awake and their need for rest. So, if you notice these sleep cues, don't wait for a full-blown meltdown. The key is to act quickly and help your baby transition to sleep before they become too overtired. Start incorporating those calming bedtime routines, whether it's a warm bath, a gentle massage, or a soothing lullaby. These activities can help signal to your baby that it's time to wind down and prepare for sleep. Trust me, a well-rested baby is a happy baby, and a happy baby means happy parents. When your baby gets the sleep they need, they're more likely to be content and easier to care for. And as a parent, you'll feel more rested and better equipped to handle the challenges of parenthood. So, keep an eye out for those sleep cues and establish a consistent bedtime routine. Your whole family will benefit from it. We all get a little overwhelmed sometimes, right? Well, babies are no different. In fact, they're even more sensitive to stimulation because their little nervous systems are still developing. Too much noise, light, or activity can send them into sensory overload. So, how can you tell if your baby is overstimulated? One of the first signs is often fussiness. They might start to get antsy, arch their backs, or pull away from you. It's their way of saying, "Whoa, hold on, this is too much for me right now." You might also notice changes in their breathing. Their breaths might become faster or shallower. Some babies even hold their breath for a few seconds, which can be alarming, but it's usually harmless. Another common sign is gaze aversion. Instead of engaging with you or their surroundings, they might turn their head away or close their eyes. They're trying to shut out some of that excess stimulation. All right, folks, let's talk about feeling comfortable. Comfort is a fundamental aspect of a baby's well-being, and it goes beyond just having a cozy crib or soft blankets. It's about creating an environment where your baby feels secure and content. Babies are like little Goldilocks. They need everything to be just right. This means that their surroundings, clothing, and even the temperature need to be carefully managed to ensure they are neither too hot nor too cold. And one of the most important factors is temperature. Babies are particularly sensitive to temperature changes because their bodies are still learning to regulate heat. Unlike adults, they can't shiver to warm up or sweat effectively to cool down. Babies can't regulate their body temperature as well as we can, so it's crucial to make sure they're not too hot or too cold. This means constantly monitoring their environment and adjusting their clothing and bedding as needed. A good rule of thumb is to dress them in one more layer than you're comfortable in. This extra layer helps to ensure they stay warm without overheating. So if you're wearing a t-shirt, put your baby in a onesie and a light sleeper. This combination provides a balance of warmth and breathability, which is essential for their comfort. And remember, what feels comfortable to you might not be comfortable for your baby. Babies have different comfort levels, and it's important to pay attention to their cues. Pay attention to their extremities. Their hands and feet can give you a good indication of their overall body temperature. If their hands and feet are cold, they're probably too cold overall. This is a sign that you may need to add an extra layer or adjust the room temperature. On the other hand, if their face is flushed or they're sweating, they might be too warm. Overheating can be dangerous, so it's important to remove a layer or cool down the room if you notice these signs. Avoid overbundling, especially during sleep. Babies can easily overheat if they are wrapped in too many layers or heavy blankets. Overheating increases the risk of SIDS, so it's better to err on the side of caution. Always ensure that your baby is sleeping in a safe and comfortable environment, and never put a hat on your baby indoors, even in the winter. While it might seem like a good idea to keep them warm, it can actually lead to overheating. They lose a lot of heat through their heads, so a hat can actually make them overheat. Instead, focus on keeping the room at a comfortable temperature and dressing them in appropriate layers. Another important aspect to consider is the room temperature. Ideally, the room should be kept between 68 and 72 degrees Fahrenheit. This range is generally comfortable for most babies and helps to prevent them from getting too hot or too cold. Using a room thermometer can be very helpful in maintaining the right temperature. It takes the guesswork out of the equation and ensures that the room is always at a safe and comfortable level for your baby. Also, consider the lighting in the room. A dimly lit room can help your baby sleep better and feel more relaxed. Bright lights can be stimulating and make it harder for them to settle down. Some parents find that using a white noise machine can also help create a soothing environment. The gentle hum can mimic the sounds your baby heard in the womb, providing a sense of familiarity and comfort. Lastly, always be attentive to your baby's needs. Every baby is different, and what works for one might not work for another. Pay close attention to their reactions and adjust accordingly. Creating a comfortable environment for your baby is all about balance and attentiveness. By being mindful of their needs and making small adjustments, you can ensure that your baby feels safe, secure, and content. Remember, a comfortable baby is a happy baby, and a happy baby means a happy parent. So take the time to create a cozy, safe, and comfortable space for your little one. It will make all the difference in their well-being and your peace of mind. All right, so we've covered the basics, but sometimes your little one is still crying and you're pulling your hair out trying to figure out why. Well, one possibility could be colic. Now, colic is a bit of a mystery. We don't fully understand it, but it typically shows up in babies around 2 weeks of age and tends to improve by around 3 to 4 months. Colic is essentially defined as excessive crying in an otherwise healthy baby. So, if your baby is crying for more than 3 hours a day, for more than 3 days a week, and for more than 3 weeks, and there's no other obvious cause, they might be dealing with colic. It can be really tough to deal with, both for the baby and for you as parents. Let's talk about another common reason why babies cry: teething. Teething, that exciting but often uncomfortable milestone that all babies go through. Essentially, teething is when your baby's teeth start to push through their gums. It's a natural process, but it can definitely cause some discomfort for your little one. Teething usually starts around 6 months of age, but some babies might start earlier or later. Every baby is different, so don't be alarmed if your baby doesn't follow the textbook timeline exactly. Now, how can you tell if your baby is teething? Well, there are some telltale signs you can look out for. One of the most obvious signs is excessive drooling. We've covered a lot of reasons why babies cry, from hunger to colic to teething. But sometimes crying can be a sign of something more serious, an illness. As a doctor, I can't stress enough how important it is to be able to recognize the signs of illness in your baby. Babies can't tell us what's wrong, so it's up to us to pay close attention to their cues. One of the most obvious signs of illness is a fever. A fever is a sign that your baby's body is fighting off an infection. You can check your baby's temperature using a digital rectal thermometer, which is the most accurate method for infants. All right, new parents, let's talk gas. We all get gassy sometimes, right? Well, babies are still figuring out how their digestion works, and gas can be a big source of discomfort for them. It's those little digestive systems still learning the ropes. Think about it. Their tummies are teeny tiny, and they're taking in all this new food, whether it's breast milk or formula. It's a lot to process. And sometimes that process leads to a buildup of gas, which can cause those little bellies to feel tight and uncomfortable. Let's talk about something really important: a baby's need for attention and connection. This one's huge. You know, sometimes babies cry simply because they want to be close to you. They crave your touch, your warmth, your presence. It's a basic human need, right? Think about it. For 9 months, they were snuggled up inside, listening to your heartbeat, feeling your every move. Coming into the world, as amazing as it is, can be a big adjustment. They go from constant contact to suddenly being on their own. So yeah, they're going to want that reassurance that you're still there for them. So there you have it, folks. We've reached the end of our journey through the common reasons why your little one might be crying. It's been quite an informative ride, hasn't it? We've covered 10 common reasons why your little one might be crying. From the basic needs to the more complex issues, understanding these reasons can make a world of difference in how you respond to your baby's cries. Remember, babies are amazing, but they can't tell us what's wrong with words. Their cries are their primary way of communicating with us. It's their way of saying, "Hey, I need something," or "Something's not right." Crying is their way of communicating, and it's up to us as parents and caregivers to decipher those cries and respond with love and care. We talked about hunger, which is often the first thing that comes to mind when a baby cries. A hungry baby will let you know with a persistent rhythmic cry. Then there's the issue of dirty diapers. A wet or soiled diaper can be very uncomfortable for a baby, and changing it promptly can often stop the crying. Sleepiness is another big one. Babies need a lot of sleep, and when they're tired, they can get very fussy. Overstimulation can also lead to tears. Sometimes the world is just too much for a little one, and they need a break from all the sights and sounds. Discomfort can come from many sources, including colic, which is a common issue for many infants. Teething is another source of discomfort. Those tiny teeth pushing through the gums can be quite painful. Illness is a more serious concern. If your baby is running a fever or showing other signs of illness, it's important to consult with your pediatrician. Gas can also cause a lot of discomfort. Burping your baby after feedings can help alleviate this. And let's not forget the need for attention. Babies are social creatures and they crave interaction. Sometimes all they need is a little cuddle or some playtime with you to feel better. Remember, every baby is different. What works for one baby may not work for another. It's all about getting to know your little one and understanding their unique needs and personality. What works for one baby may not work for another. It's a process of trial and error, and that's perfectly okay. The important thing is to stay patient and keep trying different methods until you find what works best for your baby. Trust your instincts and don't hesitate to reach out to your pediatrician if you're ever concerned about your little one's health or well-being. Your pediatrician is there to help you and provide guidance, so don't be afraid to ask questions or seek advice. If you found this video helpful, give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more evidence-based parenting tips and advice. Your support helps me create more content that can assist you on your parenting journey. And don't forget to share this video with your fellow parents out there. Sharing is caring, and you never know who might benefit from this information. Let's support each other on this incredible journey of parenthood. Parenting can be challenging, but it's also incredibly rewarding. By sharing our experiences and knowledge, we can make the journey a little easier for everyone. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay healthy and keep those babies happy. Remember, you're doing an amazing job, and your love and care make all the difference in your baby's life. See you in the next video.